How to Train Your Useless Dragon by Mika Crispy on AO3. Chapter 6 How to Be Friends with a Dragon. Bakugo and Izuku develop a nice routine. They meet every 3 days and spend their time together training Deku's teeth and debating the difference between dragons and human societies. Katsuki would never admit it, but going out to meet Deku was his favorite things to do. It was better even than fighting. It was thrilling and exciting, but at the same time fun and insightful. There were so many things Deku could teach him, and Katsuki felt great when he explained human things for the boy and Deku's eyes filled with admiration. Katsuki discovered that dragons build their nest in little caves in the mountains of the Dragon Island. He also found out that they organize parties for hunting, fishing, and patrolling their territory, and that Deku isn't allowed in any of those parties since he can't fight. The dragons also don't have only one chief, as Viking villagers do. They have a group they call elders that is informed by the oldest and the strongest dragons. The elders are the ones who make the rules that all dragons have to follow. Deku also has gotten much better at controlling his teeth. Now he manages to make them appear at his will at least 6 out of 10 times. Last time they met, Bakugo and the dragon even sparred a little, with Deku both in his human form and dragon form. In human form, the runt is still very uncoordinated, and he obviously doesn't know any fighting styles, so Bakugo taught him the best he could, and maybe overpowered him a few times just so the boy knows who is the best. But in the dragon form, it was a fucking blast. Katsuki can't remember the last time he had so much fun. They rolled around on the beach, trying to subdue one another, picking up the sand around. Even Izuku's finishing the fight by licking Katsuki's face and drowning the Viking in disgusting dragon spit didn't take Bakugo's good mood away. So no way in hell will this little drizzle stop Bakugo from going to see his dragon today. Katsuki thinks as he sees the dark clouds in the sky. He and Deku still have many things to talk about and train. Katsuki wants to discover if Deku can imitate his fighting stance, even in dragon form, so he can't give up going to Turtle Island because of fucking rain. Bakugo glares at the sky and pushes his tiny boat to the water. The sail to Turtle Island was not very long anyways. Bakugo would probably be inland before the rain gets heavier. Then he and Deku can make a fire to get warm. Maybe the dragon will even breathe some fire. Deku said he could do it, but his fire is very small, so it's not very useful for fighting. Shit. He had been seeing Deku for over a moon cycle, and he hasn't seen the dragon breathe fire. There are just so many fucking things to talk about and to do with Deku. Bakugo can't miss even one shitty day he has with the dragon. The rain doesn't pick up much until Bakugo sees Turtle Island on the horizon. But as he gets closer to land, the waves get huge. He should have thought about that. The current around the shitty island is crazy strong on good days. Now with the rain and the wind, it became deadly. Katsuki begins getting scared. The little wooden frame of his boat makes awful crinkling sounds at the strength of the currents. He closes his sail, hoping to lower the intensity of the power the boat has to endure. But then he starts floating without direction. Bakugo thinks quickly and puts the orcs into the water. However, trying to row is too heavy. He isn't strong enough. Getting distracted with his rowing problems, Bakugo doesn't see the huge wave coming into his direction until it's too late. The wave comes crashing down on the boat. Katsuki feels the wood give in and break under his feet, and barely has time for one last big gulp of air before the sea buries him. Bakugo doesn't even think about his situation. He just swims wildly, trying to get back to the surface. But the current's too great. Every time he thinks he will get some air, another wave pushes him down. Shit. He needs to reach. Katsuki's eyes are closed, forced that way by the sea salt and waves. So he just feels the moment big paws hug his midsection and hoist him up into the air. He coughs and heaves, his lungs burning from the lack of oxygen in the seawater. Bakugo is so caught up in trying to breathe, he doesn't notice when the beach gets closer. He just feels the wet sand under his fingers as he is laying down from the sea. Deku saved him. The dragon he tried to kill less than 30 days ago saved his life. Bakugo coughs a few more times and shivers as the cold endures his skin. Kachan, are you alright? Deku, transformed into human form and supports Bakugo's back as the young Viking keeps coughing out the seawater. I was so scared when that wave flipped your boat. Deku, Bakugo tries talking, but his throat hurts, and it doesn't let him continue, and he coughs some more. Don't talk, you need to breathe. Izuku pets his back, fussing over him like a mother hen. You're so cold. Let's get you under the trees. The skinny boy picks Katsuki up with his arms, with a strength no one would say his tiny body possessed. They enter deep into the forest, where the thick foliage keeps most of the rain away. He drops Bakugo down against the trunk of a big tree, and begins gathering sticks and firewood around. Katsuki watches Deku's every movement quietly, focusing on getting his breathing normal again. After stacking the wood neatly near Bakugo, Izuku gets close to the pile and looks very seriously at it. He closes his eyes and takes a couple of deep and slow breaths. Then he opens his eyes again and breathes out a small fire flow. His fire is a light yellow, almost white, and lights the wood instantly. It's beautiful. Katsuki feels warmer just looking at the bright flames. There, this should help you get warm, Izuku says with a bright smile. And Katsuki would like to agree, but he couldn't be so optimistic. His wet clothes cling to his body and he feels cold all the way to his bone. Izuku probably didn't think of helping him out of his clothes, since the dragon rarely uses clothes himself. Stupid Deku. Help me take this shit off, Bakugo says, already struggling to release himself from his cape. Izuku runs to his side and takes his cape off. Your clothes are wet. How do we make you warm if your clothes are wet? Izuku asks, scared, while pulling Katsuki's shirt off. Just stretch them near the fire. They should get better soon enough. Katsuki's voice is rappy from his injured throat. Bakugo keeps only his pants, but the strong fire is really helping with the cold. Luckily for them, it's not winter yet, but a nice spring day. Deku. Katsuki calls for the dragon while Izuku tries putting his clothes to dry. Yes, Kachan? You saved me, he says, and Izuku looks at him confused, even doing that stupid tilt of his head he does in his dragon form. You saved the human that tried to kill you, then blackmail you into telling all your secrets. Why? Izuku just chuckles as if Katsuki was talking nonsense. Why? Silly, because we're friends, Izuku says with a bright smile. But as Katsuki just stares at him seriously, his smile drops and he contemplates. Aren't we? Worry filling his eyes. Stupid fucking dragon making Katsuki's heart fall more heavy and turbulent than the sea he just got out of. However, looking deep into Izuku's forest green eyes, Bakugo felt the weight in his heart lift, and the answer to Izuku's question becomes clear. Of course we're friends, stupid Deku. The rest of their day was spent with Bakugo trying to get dry and warm again. Deku brought fish for them to cook, and Katsuki taught the dragon about gutting and pulling the fish on sticks to roast them. Katsuki likes cooking, and the idea of Deku not knowing the wonders of spices and cooking was completely besides him. As Bakugo's throat was still hurting, Deku did most of the talking. The dragon talked more about his friends and his favorite topic, All Might. All Might was the strongest dragon of all. The boy described him as a huge yellow dragon, larger than life, stronger than the ocean. All Might protects all dragons and keeps the peace in the archipelago. He's also very kind and caring, always looking out for Deku. From Izuku's tales, Bakugo gets curious about this All Might dragon. Katsuki thinks he already heard the description of a dragon like him, incredibly strong and powerful, but now he wants to see for himself if the stories are true. And one day, All Might flew all the way from the Dragon Island to the last island of the Pelicans, all the way north, in like a blink of an eye. He's so fast. He did that because two dragons were fighting for a nest, so when he got there, he headbutted a new cave in the north side, so both dragons could nest there. Isn't he great? Izuku was clearly an All Might fanboy, but it was interesting to listen to the idiot ramble about his idol. As Katsuki already imagined, Deku really is the runt of the dragons and struggles every day with the lack of physical paralysis. It breaks Katsuki's heart a little to hear about Izuku's difficulties back in his home, and the young Viking promises himself he will help Deku control all his powers. He's the best fucking warrior in all the Viking villages. If someone can transform the useless runt into a fighter, it is Bakugou Katsuki. However, now that it's getting closer to the time he has to go home, Katsuki is getting increasingly worried. His boat is gone. How can he get back to his village? Maybe he could write a message to Shitty Hair and ask for Deku to deliver? But that would bring so many complications. No way Kirishima would not have questions if an unknown boy shows up to his door saying Katsuki is stranded on an island. Can Deku even get to his village alone? But he really doesn't have any other option. Deku, we need to figure out how to ask someone to pick me up here since my boat is destroyed. I can't just wait around like a fucking idiot until some extra graces us with their presence. Oh, I thought I would take you home, Izuku says matter-of-factly. Do you have a boat laying around, idiot? How the fuck would you take me home? Bakugo rolls his eyes. The same way I took you out of the water, Kachan. Flying. Izuku shrugs, and Katsuki's eyes go huge. Flying. The stupid dragon can fly him home. That would be fucking rad. Deku is certainly not as useless as he looks. Yeah, flying, okay. We can try that if you want. Bakugo tries to play it cool, as if his head is not going crazy with flying. Flying. I will fly. Take that, motherfuckers. Who needs to kill a dragon? I will fucking fly on a dragon. Oh, wait. Kill a dragon. If the other people from his village see Deku approaching, they will take him down. Bakugo can't allow those idiots to hurt his dragon. He needs to think of somewhere Deku can fly to, and no one will see him. Somewhere far from the village that people don't usually go. Maybe the top of the cliff that is almost an hour of walking from their village. It's behind Aizawa's hill, and no one ever goes that way since the climb can get pretty tiring, and there is nothing to do up there. If they arrive from the northeast, they can probably go unseen. Alright, Deku, let's do this. The rain has completely stopped, and even though the sky is still full of clouds, they are a light gray color. Izuku and Katsuki are back at the beach, debating their flight route to his village, and Deku is giving a few pointers to Baku about flying etiquette. I never had anyone flying on my back, but you're very light, so it shouldn't be a problem. I'm not fucking light, asshole. I have a healthy weight for a young man my fucking age. Katsuki barks at the dragon, who just chuckles at the Viking's antics. Right, I'm not sure if it would be better if your legs stayed in the front or behind my wings when I transform. And you can climb up. I may ask you to change your position. We have to be careful about weight distribution and aerodynamics. Izuku's voice gets lower gradually until the boy is muttering to himself. And I can't do my usual flips or else he would fall. I need to fly in the most stable way possible. Takeoff and landings can be dangerous too. I can't fall on top of him after a bad landing. Just transform back. Let's get fucking moving, idiot. We're losing daylight. Actually, daylight is not necessary, Kachan. Dragons can see very well in the dark. I could fly you in the middle of the night in a new moon without issue. Izuku explains, smiling. Katsuki feels like smashing the idiot's head against the sand. But I fucking can't, asshole. And after we fly there, I still will have to take the hike back to the village. Bakugo screams, And finally, the dragon has the decently to look sheepish. Alright, I was just. Izuku says and shifts back into his dragon form. Deku is not a big dragon, barely bigger than a horse, but right now he looks incredibly daunting. Shitty big lizard. How is Bakugo supposed to even get up on his back? As if reading his thoughts, Izuku kneels on his front legs, making it easier for Bakugo to climb on top of him. I could go up just fine, shitty dragon. Katsuki grunts, just for the heck of it, while he approaches Deku's side. Bakugo runs his hands on the dragon's smooth scales. It's so weird that he can feel the light warmth coming out of something that looks so cold and rough. Izuku doesn't have big scales on his spine, as Bakugo knows some dragons have, so his back is pretty smooth. Katsuki throws his legs and mounts on Deku's back. He wiggles his butt a little to check if he was well-centered, and almost slips from the dragon. He had to hug Deku's neck to not fall off, but no one saw that. Maybe Izuku's back was too smooth. Bakugo clamps tight on Izuku's sides, just in front of his wings. That way the wings will help Katsuki not slip backwards. Is this a good position for you? Izuku gives a few tentative steps forward, and Bakugo thinks that riding a dragon is nothing like a horse. Deku's movements are more fluid. His whole body waggles as he walks on the beach. The lack of a saddle also doesn't help much. Katsuki holds on the dragon's neck, but again, his height is too smooth to give him a good grip. But Deku seems to be moving without great impairments, so maybe they could pull this off. What do you think? Can we do this shit? Katsuki asks, and Deku turns his head upwards at him and nods. Bakugo even thinks he can see the same dopey expression Deku uses in his human form, with the sweet smile and the almost closed eyes. It's so fucking ridiculous that he chuckles. Whatever. Are you ready, big lizard? Bakugo hopes his voice is showing some kind of certainty he is far from feeling. As Deku begins running on the sand, Katsuki feels his heart beating inside his throat. Maybe today really is the day he dies. If not drowning under the waves, it'll be from falling hundreds of meters off of a dragon's back. Izuku begins moving his wings, and Bakugo clamps his legs even tighter. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna fucking die. Katsuki's brain screams at him, and he closes his eyes as Deku gets even faster, and with a powerful flap of his wings, they go airborne. Katsuki's stomach does somersaults in his belly. His heart is lodged in his throat, and when he dares to open his eyes, his breath is taken away. It's fucking beautiful. In no time at all, they're gliding through the clouds, and Bakugo can see the sun that was hidden before the horizon seems infinite. And he can't help the huge smile that breaks into his face. He is flying. He is fucking flying. It's amazing, breathtaking, terrifying, and exciting all at once. Looking down, he could see the ocean between the clouds. Looking up, he can see more blue sky than he knew existed. The strong winds run through his hair, and if not for Deku's solid presence between his legs, he would think that he died and was going to heaven. But Deku is very much alive under him. Bakugo can feel the dragon's breath inflating his chest and the strong wings flapping. He can even see Deku's head moving as the dragon keeps track of their route. Holy fucking shit, Deku! This is the best thing in the whole fucking world! Bakugo screams against the wind, and he thinks he could sense the dragon chuckling at his expenses. But right now, not even that can sour his mood. He's fucking flying! The way from Turtle Island to Katsuki's village usually takes a little less than a couple of hours to sail in his tiny boat, but with Deku's powerful wings, they cover the ground in a fraction of time, much too soon to Katsuki's liking. They can see the deadly cliff where they will land atop on. There, that's where we're going. Bakugo leans his body forward to speak close to Izuku's ears, and points to a soft grass on top of a cliff. Deku corrects his flying path towards their target, and as they get closer, slows down his speed to a point where he's practically flying in the same spot like a hummingbird, before descending slowly into the grass. I guess you can manage some good landing from time to time, Bakugo thinks before dismounting. Izuku shifts back to his human form so they can say farewell. Maybe next time we can... Katsuki begins thinking before halting. Will they be a next time? He doesn't have a boat to reach Turtle Island anymore, and he doesn't know when he'll manage to get another one. Hell, no fucking depressing thoughts. He will get another shitty boat, even if he needs to fucking build it on his own. He just needs to tell Deku that maybe he won't be able to go to their next meeting. But this is not fucking goodbye. Deku, my boat is wrecked. I'm gonna get another one, but I don't know if I'll be able to make it to our next meeting. Just hang in there and I'll... Why don't I just come here? The boy asked, tilting his head in confusion. What do you mean, idiot? Because it's fucking dangerous. Bakugo asked, confused. You said no one comes around this area, and I'll be careful no one sees me. I can come from the north, where human boats don't usually go. Izuku says, a little embarrassed. Well, Bakugo guesses he is not the only one who wants to continue their meetings. Oh, right, then, but pay attention, you idiot. Not every human is nice like me, and will give you a chance to befriend them before they behead you. I know, Kacchan, Izuku says, smiling. Kacchan is the kindest human of all. That's a fucking lie. Sorry. I didn't even cut out. I'm supposed to cut out and then do the intro. Fuck that. I'm not cutting out. That is a fucking lie. I'm sorry. I just had to say that. That's a fucking lie. That's a lie. Kacchan is the kindest human of all. No, he isn't. No. This was a very interesting chapter. First flight scene. To that one person in my comments the other day who was like, oh, the whole, there's so many foods that I can't bring you is alluding and like low-key giving like foreshadowing for, Izuku to go to Bakugo's island, to his village. Well, he went to his island. You're right. I remember I replied with, you know too much. Because I do know too much. You know too much. You. Like, I could tell that person probably knows a lot about writing structures. If I was reading this for the first... When I read that for the first time and I read that part, and I'm like, huh. Is Izuku gonna go to the island? Because I'm like, it's alerting too much to the whole, there's so much wonder and stuff like that. And then my second thought was, is Katsuki gonna go to the Dragon Island? I don't know. There's just a bunch of little things that if you really do look for in stories, you could kind of low-key predict what's about to happen. Because, again, fundamentals and ground building. Like, for example, if, let's say a character is starting, like, this one is one of the easiest ones to spot, but if a character is starting to think, am I doing the right thing? Specifically, like a villain. You could tell that is the foundational groundworks of this, villain getting a redemption arc. And one that's even harder to spot is if the villain has empathy for people, right? And has even the slightest bit of mercy. That can be foreshadowing and ground building for a redemption arc. This one is not as spotted as usual. I remember this one time I was watching a movie, and in the beginning, the villain was kind-hearted in a way, kind of. And I remember I casually mentioned, oh, I think the villain's gonna get a redemption arc. And my friend was like, no freaking way. No, he's not, because, he's this, he's not, right? He hasn't had that whole, oh, am I doing the right thing kind of moment. And then a bit after, the villain started having that moment, and then I turned to my friend, I'm like, what did you say? And my friend's like, how? What? Whatever. It's stuff like that. Also, the thumbnail. I fixed it. I fixed it. So, Deku is now black with golden sparks. I don't know why it got in my head that Deku was a green dragon. I don't know why. But I fixed it. What I'm not gonna fix is Bakugo's clothes. Or the fact that he's missing a hand. I drew this. I drew this picture. Bakugo's missing a hand. Bakugo's missing a hand. We gotta love that. He's also missing a shirt. I don't know why I went with the whole fantasy Bakugo. You know how his fantasy form, he doesn't have a shirt, it's literally just the cape and he has like tattoos and stuff. Yeah, I decided to go with that form. But clearly, I don't know, because I don't know why I didn't give him a shirt. I don't know why I thought in my mind he was just shirtless with a cape. That doesn't make sense. What? I don't know. I was on... it was like 3 a.m. when I drew this. I drew this a while back. Like, the second I got permission to Podfic it, I'm like, I'm drawing it. Because I want to draw it. I want an excuse to draw it. And so I did. I drew Izuku, the dragon form, like, Toothless, because it is supposed to be kind of centered on that. Like, it is How to Train Your Dragon based. So I drew Izuku kind of like Toothless, and I did not draw Bakugou at all like Hiccup. I was gonna draw Bakugou with Hiccup's getup, but I felt like that wouldn't fit. I feel like Bakugou would not wear Hiccup's getup. Maybe from like the series, specifically not the Burks Riders, but the Race to the Edge one. Definitely that one. I feel like he would wear what Hiccup wears there. I feel like maybe some of, the second movie, not the third, because for the third you need dragon scales, but although, actually that makes sense. You know what? No, the third too. Yeah, it could just be like the dragon scales of a dragon they killed, and not just dragon scales that they collected from their pet dragons kind of thing. But yeah, that's all I have to say. I have to go back to recording, more. I'm almost at the halfway mark, and, still have tomorrow to record, so I feel like I am gonna make it. Let's go. But yeah, as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds, have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.